all of you. This is Sunaina, Youth and Family Life Coach from Athena Life Coaching. So the questions are pouring in, and recently I've had 3 different sets of parents asking me via email, on the phone and in person the same thing, that their children are complaining to them is, "Mom, you are always nagging. So how do I stop being a nag?" Because now that's the role the mother feels she's assigned herself to, that she's being the nag and the father's the one whom the children come back to and chill out and relax with. So in one of the cases, that's, the mom has a little bit of stuff going on in the relationship with the husband also. So the question for today is, how do I, as the mom, stop being a nag to my children? The first thing is, and sorry, before I start, I have to say that in a lot of cases, especially where I'm coaching children one-on-one, the word nag for the mom is justified, because yes, we're human and we tend to make mistakes, and because we don't have the right parenting skills, we are making mistakes. And me, even though I'm a parenting coach, I make mistakes all the time, but it's just about how long do you want to continue these mistakes versus you realize you make a mistake and then you don't do it again. So the 5 points today, the first one is, get your child to value and to respect your words. Easier said than done, Sunaina. You're absolutely right. How will you do this? How do you get your child to value and respect every word that you're saying? Is by not talking in paragraph form. So I have this mother who tells her teenage son to study, because if he doesn't study, then he won't do well in school. If he doesn't do well in school, then get a bad result. If he gets a bad result, he won't get into a good job. If he doesn't get into a good job, it's so difficult. The economies are so difficult these days to get a job, and his life is going to be a mess. And she goes on a roll literally every day, or whenever she sees him relaxing or skiving. And you know what her teenage son does in front of the mother? Because he knows the whole story. He has heard it a million times, if not more. So what is the mom doing? She is getting her child to lose his respect for her, because she goes on and on and on. So stop repeating yourself, limit what you're saying, and do not repeat it infinitely. And rather than paragraph forms, talk in bullet points. So I gave this example to this particular mom. Is like, if you are on the highway and you know the speed limit is 60 kilometers an hour, that's the rule. And when the policeman comes, traffic police guy catches you, he makes you pay up $100 or whatever else it is, and that's it. There's no conversation, there's no discussion, there's no paragraphs. It's just a bullet point. If you cross 60 kilometers an hour, the fine is $100. And in the same way, when we are communicating to our children, when we are enforcing certain boundaries, or we are trying to communicate to them to do something, please try and speak in bullet points. So that's the first point. The second point is, make it clear you mean business. And by business is the way you speak. So the limit how much you're saying, your body language, and the way you're saying it. So you mean business, that if this is not done, then you are going to lose A, B, C, D benefits. So you're going to lose your iPad, or you won't be able to go out with your friends this weekend, or whatever else it is. So make it very clear to them that this is the boundary, this is what I want you to do. If this is not done, and this is not going to happen. And the third thing is, follow through with what you're telling your children. So if you're telling your child that this weekend he or she can't go out with his friends because he didn't do this or this thing, then when the weekend comes, it's like you're exhausted and you can't be bothered to argue with your child, and you're like, whatever, okay, you want to go, just go, get out of my hair. Go out with your friends, at least I'll have some peace and quiet. So your child knows that you don't mean business, that you are nagging him or her to do something. He breaks it. He doesn't do your enforced boundary rule or whatever instructions you've asked him to do. And by the time the weekend comes, and by the time you have to enforce it, you can't be bothered. And so it comes back to the same thing. And that's where your nagging starts, because you yourself are not following through, enforcing the rule, and it goes back with your child saying, she's just going to nag so I can get away with this, rather than actually doing what she wants me to do. And the fourth thing is what I was talking about is boundaries. So if there is, and I again compare boundaries to a house, to where you're living. So if you're living in an apartment, the apartment has certain walls. There is a living room, a dining room, a bedroom, a kitchen. And if you are not comfortable in the living room and you are sitting on your sofa and you say, oh, I want to stretch my legs out, you're not going to break the wall behind to stretch backwards. You might get up from the sofa and go to the lounge chair or sit somewhere else, or go to your bedroom and say, I'm not comfortable here, I want to have a lie down, and move elsewhere. So these are the boundary walls as parents that you create for your children. So for example, no stealing, no lying, being honest, being truthful, no drugs, etc., are the walls on which your family's boundaries are built, which are non-negotiable and which your children need to follow. But the stuff where you can get up from the sofa and move to the bedroom, where there is flexibility, are within the boundaries. There are softer boundaries. So for example, if your child wants to watch 2 episodes, for example, on the weekend, and he comes to you and takes permission to watch a 3rd episode, he's been good, he's done his work, so on and so forth, you allow him to do that. Your daughter wants to do her hair up funnily. Okay, it's better than breaking other boundary walls. So you have to realize what are the wall boundaries versus what are the flexible boundaries that you have, and communicate that to your child in bullet points. And the 5th point where I come in is, if you are finding it really difficult and you really don't know how to communicate with your children, and you are struggling and you're still nagging and there is this cycle, then I would ask you to approach me as your life coach for your family, for your child and for yourself, to help you to build bridges where you learn how to communicate in a better fashion, and thereby your child also learns how to communicate with you, so that there is a better flow of communication, a better understanding and a better follow through from both sides, where you are enforcing boundaries and your children are following through. And this is not only about boundaries, it's also about love and fun times. So I hope these 5 points help you to stop being a nag and being that wonderful, loving, nurturing and clear, confident mother that you are meant to be. So the 5 points are: the first one, get your child to value and respect your words by talking in bullet points rather than in long, winding paragraphs, and to stop repeating yourself. The second is, make it clear you mean business. This is what needs to happen. The third thing is following through. If those boundaries, if the things that you have said are not followed through by your children, then you follow through by enforcing what needs to be taken away from them. The fourth thing is, boundaries are both the wall boundaries plus the softer ones that can move around. And the 5th point is, do approach me as your life coach if you need further help, where I sit with you and your child to help you to communicate with each other better. We're all in the learning sphere. There's no right or wrong about doing this. It's just about approaching a neutral party to learn some new skills to get your family on a rocking platform where you are enjoying each other more than having a stressful environment. And do remember, you can email me always on sunaina@athena@gmail.com, or if you're in doubt of what I can help you with or without, you can call me on 05613999033. And I look forward to interacting with you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.